we're going to be turning these into this. And what you are going to need is you're going to need your hair, your Prismacolor pencils, or any colored pencils that blend well, I guess. You know, your little color charts, and possibly a paintbrush. Typically, I do 3 colored pencils of whatever color I'm going to do. In this case, we're going to do Kika, who has red hair, so we're going to get Poppy Red, Crimson Red, and Tuscan Red. And Tuscan Red is a bit of more of a, I don't know, I really wouldn't usually put it with this, but I literally have no other shading colors that isn't black. Using the lightest color, which in this case is Poppy Red, we're going to be splitting the hair. For example, because she parts her hair in the middle, we're gonna, I don't know, do something like that, I guess. We're just kind of like separate. So see how we have it all parted? I've noticed that the more you kind of like segment it, like if I were to put one through here, it'll look fuller, probably even fluffier. Okay, so now that we parted it, we're just gonna kind of go and we're just gonna basically outline each section with the lightest color with not a very heavy hand. So this is basically just going to be, right along the outlines, things like that. Okay, as you can see here, I use this to basically draw on the part. But if you already have pre-drawn in the part with like your outline, then don't worry about it. It makes life so much easier. For example, Belphie, which you can't really see it because it's dark, but right along here and right along here, I had drawn in the part. And so I basically just used the colored pencil, and as you can see, I just kind of kept going with the part, so that way his bangs, you can see they're going down this way, but then back here, they're going up and out. Next, we're going to take this that we have created so far. I'm going to take this part right here, just because, and we're going to kind of, start filling it in a little, but we're going to leave a gap. We're going to leave a gap where we want the shine. And don't forget to reinforce the sides so you don't. So I'm just kind of loosely not picking up my pencil. I'm picking up my pencil, putting my pencil down, swiping, and then picking it up before I do the next one. So it's not so, Alright. We're going to take it and we're just going to lightly drag it just a few times. So there we have kind of like our shine and the beginning of our hair. So I did it for a couple more, and as you can see, unless you're going for a specific shine going across like this, it's just kind of like the middle of each section. So the part, or the shine, doesn't necessarily line up. So unless you're going for a specifically lined up shine, I don't normally do that. See, so we got like the shine here, here, and up here, because there was a little section right here. Sorry, I didn't realize the camera was turned sideways for that. So now, we're going to take our medium color, which this is basically kind of like the color you would normally just shade in the entire thing. This was normally the color that you would like kind of start with as like a medium section. Don't mind the cat. So in this case, we're going to be going with Crimson Red, because this is normally what I would color her hair with. And it kind of needs to be sharpened, so make sure you have your sharpener handy. I don't know if I listed that, but mine's there. So we're going to be kind of defining some of the sections a little bit more, just to make it easier. So if you kind of remember where our sections are, we're basically going to be doing the same that we did with the light color, but it's going to be with the medium color. We're basically going to be defining the sections, just kind of outlining it a little bit. I really don't know what to say, but yeah. That, I'm gonna go up like this. Boo-boo. And then we got one right there, so we're gonna go like that. See? Ta-da! So now that you basically recopied step 1, but with the darker kind of pencil, we're going to be kind of doing something similar. As in, we're going to be like darkening it, but we're not going to be putting it all the way because then there'd be no point, and then there'd be no gradient, I guess. And so normally we're not going to go super light like we did like here, but we're not going to be pressing down super hard either because we don't quite want to push down super hard unless you're doing 4 colors, because 4 colors is understandable. I typically just use 3, but sometimes, for example, like that Belphie picture earlier, I actually used 8 colors. I used 4 different shades of blue and 4 different shades of purple, not including the silver and white that I used on it. So see, now we got that kind of gradient looking thing going on. So now we're going to go to our third color, which is Tuscan Red in this case, and we're basically going to be, this part honestly depends, because, normally, I re-outline each single one every single time, but for example, with the Belphie one, for the first 2, blue and purple, I would re-outline it, but I wouldn't redo the blue. I would just do the tips, and then with the darker purple, I would actually push down and then go around it, and then I used black to actually finish off the whole thing, so it actually looks really, really nice. So I'm just gonna literally just do the very edges of this. So I'm kind of like, and this is kind of where you can like push down a little bit harder once you're like towards the tips. So just to make it a bit darker. So I'm gonna go whoop up here. There, and we're gonna do it here. Boop boop. Boop 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 boop. And there we go. For example, if you have this where you're not quite sure, you might have done the dark too much and you can't really see either. That's where you take your light and you just extend it a little bit. And then you take your medium and kind of redo that. And there we go. And sometimes, unless I'm using a 4th color, which typically the 4th color is the lightest color that there is, and I just kind of accentuate the highlights. Well, for example, for this one, I'm going to be taking my medium red, which is Crimson Red, and I'm just basically going to be kind of dragging it through like we did with the lightest tone. For example, this kind of doesn't really look right like red. It kind of looks more like an orange. So you can always push down harder to get more of the color, especially with this, because this is basically with you kind of want to push down a bit more with like the medium shade, so that way you can actually like get that specific color that you'd want. So let me just kind of push down a little bit harder with this one, and yeah. Okay, so you see, it just looks just a little darker, but that's how to do like straight, I guess, slightly wavy hair. And then you basically do that. You can either do it in segments, like I did here. I just did one little segment, or you can do it all over. Like you can take your lightest, and you can just do every single part as you go. And then you take your medium and do every single part. And then you take your dark and do every single part. You can also take a lighter color. Like if there's any lighter color other than poppy red that's not quite pink, you can use that too.